Good morning and welcome to this virtual kickoff event for the Telecommunications Workforce Interagency Group. Thank you all for joining us. Now, the bipartisan infrastructure law has received a lot of attention, and there's good reason for that. It's a historic commitment to building a brighter future. That's especially true when it comes to the $65 billion in support it provides for universal broadband. This is the kind of investment that leads to generational change. It's a big deal. But as we marvel at the sheer size of this effort, let's not forget that we also need to focus on the workforce that will build it. Look, it's easy to talk about how these networks will improve our lives and grow our economy, and it's simple to cite figures like the one I see over and over again. That 5G service will create as many as 4.5 million new jobs. But here's what we don't discuss enough. In order to create all of those new jobs that flow from new innovations and new industries, you need to invest in the telecommunications workforce on the front end. That means we need to think now about the workforce of the future and how we support skill development that will foster innovation in broadband deployment, network virtualization, system integration, software development, and more. This is going to take a team effort. We need expertise from the telecommunications sector. We need expertise in job training, and we need to consider equity, quality, and safety. We need to leverage the resources we already have, like our system of higher education. And this is exactly why Congress created this interagency group. Now, over the past few months, we have assembled an all-star team to be a part of this group. We have folks participating who are identified by the FCC, the Department of Labor, the Department of Education, and our colleagues at the NTIA. Thank you to all of the appointees for your service. And special thanks go to Amy Brett, Acting Chief of Staff of the FCC's Wireless Telecommunications Bureau, and Scott Ketchum, Director of OSHA's Directorate of Construction, who have been selected by the working group as Chair and Vice Chair, respectively. So get ready, because we will now hear remarks from the interagency leaders who have spearheaded this effort, including Labor Secretary Marty Walsh, Education Secretary Miguel Cardona, and Assistant Secretary of Commerce and NTIA Administrator Alan Davidson, as well as my colleagues at the FCC, Commissioner Carr and Commissioner Starks. And following these remarks, the floor goes to Amy Brett, who will conclude this kickoff event before calling to order the very first meeting of the working group. Thanks again, everyone, for your service, and have a great meeting.
Greetings, Chairwoman Rosenworcel and the members of the Telecom Workforce Interagency Group. I'm sorry to miss your inaugural meeting today, but I want to take a few minutes to share some thoughts as we launch this important effort. Let me start by thanking each and every one of you for taking time out to volunteer on this working group. Whether you're from labor, industry, or the federal government, you have a day job and that keeps you very busy. And I know you're taking valuable time to join this effort because you care deeply about the success of this vital industry. I also want to thank the Chairwoman and her team for helping to launch this working group in record time. My team has reported on this great partnership we're forming with the FCC. Congress created this working group to develop recommendations to address the workforce needs of the telecommunications industry, including the safety of that workforce. This is a worthy goal, and we can work together to help train workers for good jobs of today and tomorrow, for 5G, for broadband, and beyond. In telecommunications, just like in many other industries, we're hearing a lot about worker shortages or even a great resignation. But that's not the real story. The truth is our workforce is growing, but labor dynamics in America are changing. And that change has been accelerated by the disruptive experiences of the pandemic. Workers are now seeking better opportunities in ways they haven't seen in decades. They're looking for opportunities to learn the skills they need. They're demanding better pay, safer working conditions, more benefits and flexibility. They want and they deserve equity for women, workers of color, immigrants, workers with disabilities, and workers in rural America. Our economy's future depends on the strengths of our labor force. But the burdens can't always fall on workers alone. This is a challenge facing employers in every industry and policymakers at every level of government. It's on all of us. We have to work together to meet this moment, by making good jobs available for everyone in every industry. That's our focus at the Department of Labor. We are leveraging the department's unique role to address the needs of American workers and American economy at this critical moment in history. We're investing in high-quality training for in-demand local jobs. Last year alone, we awarded more than $160 million to grow and diversify registered apprenticeships, which could be a promising model in this industry. We've expanded career services for veterans and their spouses all across America. And I've asked our vets team to work closely with you. We are reimagining Job Corps for the 21st century, so I invite you to think about Job Corps as a model and a partner. We are committed to partnering with businesses, unions, and everyone invested in our workforce, including this working group on solutions that work for our communities. So let's work on this together. Let's help train a diverse cross-section of our nation's workers to build our nation's future. The President's infrastructure law will allow us to grow broadband infrastructure we need to educate our kids, train our workers, and participate in the hybrid workplace of the future. If we do this right, we can create a strong workforce that will strengthen the industry and benefit from good middle-class jobs in the coming years. Thank you again for your service to this important mission, and I look forward to talking with you in the future.
Thank you for the introduction, Chairwoman Rosenworcel. And thanks to our colleagues at the FCC and the Labor Department, as well as our NTIA partners, for serving on this interagency working group. Tens of millions of Americans still live without reliable broadband. But this exciting collaboration is going to do something about that. I'm proud that this group will help deliver on President Biden's commitment to a nationwide broadband network accessible and affordable to everyone, everywhere. The Department of Education is fully committed to getting broadband into every home and school so that all students, no matter where they are on their educational journey, have equal access and opportunity to learn. Together, let's equip our students, educators, and communities with the digital resources and skills they need for the 21st century workforce and beyond. Thank you.
Hi, it's a privilege to join you today at this kickoff event for the Telecommunications Workforce Interagency Group. NTIA has been given an extraordinary responsibility to help connect every American to affordable, reliable, and high-speed broadband. If we're going to build out broadband to every corner of the country, we are going to need a highly skilled, diverse workforce that can safely do their jobs. This creates a huge opportunity to ensure that the jobs created through our broadband programs are good jobs that are accessible to a workforce that looks like America. To achieve the President's ambitious vision, we need a coordinated, whole-of-government approach, and it must be flawlessly executed, as Secretary Raimondo likes to tell us. So no pressure. But your work developing recommendations to identify the current and future needs of the telecommunications workforce epitomizes the cross-administration collaboration that is essential to ensuring we can deliver connectivity safely to all. I look forward to the working group's recommendations, and I thank you for being part of this critical work.
I want to start by expressing my thanks and appreciation to everybody that are serving on this working group. I know that all of you have big jobs, significant jobs outside of the work of this working group, and you are volunteering to take on these additional responsibilities. So I'm very thankful and appreciative. And the job that you're doing here is vitally important. We're at a unique time when it comes to bridging the digital divide in this country. We've never had the commitment at the federal level backed with a significant amount of federal dollars to end the digital divide in this country. One of the challenges that we're going to face as we implement the billions and billions of dollars that Congress has recently appropriated is to make sure that we have the workforce in place that can hang the antennas, trench the fiber, splice the connections together. And I try to spend as much time in this job as possible outside of Washington with the tower climbers and telecom crews that are out there every single day getting those jobs done. And the reality is we're a bit short when it comes to the workforce. If you look just at tower climbers alone, we could add about 20,000 additional tower climbers right now, and that's over a base of 27,000 right now. We've been trying to tackle this issue wherever we can. We're looking to stand up a lot of community college programs. Those have been somewhat successful. over the last couple of years, but obviously we need a lot more energy put behind this if we're going to ramp up to 20,000 additional tower climbers, let alone all the additional telecom crews that we need. So I really look forward to the work of this group, because as all these billions and billions of dollars that Congress has appropriated starts to flow out there, it is going to put a premium on workforce. We don't want this to be the choke point that slows down nationwide efforts to bridge the digital divide. So I'm very looking forward to the recommendations that come out of this group.
Thank you, Chairwoman Rosenworcel and Secretary Walsh, for organizing this important event. It's hard to believe that it's been almost a full 2 years since the pandemic began to shut down our daily routines. No one could have guessed how long it was going to last, but we all knew that our communications networks would be tested like never before. I'm pleased to say that industry, labor, educators, and policymakers all rose to the occasion, investing and building high-quality broadband networks to meet record demand, shifting to virtual learning, and providing resources to students in need, and of course providing critical funding to connect as many people as possible. Even as America went online, however, many businesses suffered. I note in particular that our small businesses were hit extremely hard, and more than 40% of Black-owned businesses did not survive the pandemic. That has impacted millions of households. It is clear that rebuilding our economy will require retraining our workforce and connecting them with the jobs of the future. Telecom infrastructure jobs like tower technicians, small cell technicians, and utility technicians are exactly the kind of economic opportunities that are needed in the wake of the pandemic. 5G networks can't be built without a highly skilled workforce, but many infrastructure companies report a shortage of qualified workers. That's one reason why this working group is so important. We need to understand where the shortages lie and what we can all do to address them. I also expect that the working group will consider the importance of registered apprenticeship programs for training and career development of telecom infrastructure's workforces. As I've said before, these apprenticeships train folks in a trade that will put them on the path to the middle class. According to one study, workers can earn $240,000 more over the course of their lifetime, $300,000 including benefits, by participating in such programs. I'm particularly interested in learning how historically Black colleges and universities can also play a role here, not only by partnering with organizations to prepare students for future positions, but by creating training curriculums of their own. We can't stop after graduation. The working group should examine how we can encourage companies not only to hire graduates of training programs, but also to provide them with continuing education and to work with the businesses that they eventually start on their own. This will not only help address any labor shortages in the short term, but also ensure the sustainability of these programs and strengthen the supply chain over the long term. I'm particularly hopeful that many new businesses owned by women and people of color will emerge from these efforts, so we are all better positioned to manage the next economic crisis. Thank you again for inviting me, and I look forward to the working group's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman Rosenworcel, Secretary Walsh, Secretary Cardona, Assistant Secretary Davidson, Commissioner Carr, and Commissioner Starks. We are so grateful to have their support as we kick off the Telecommunications Workforce Interagency Group, also known as TWIG. We are excited to get started on the work to support these important issues. We would like to thank the members of the TWIG for accepting the call to serve on the working group. During this coming year, we will work to support the telecommunications workforce, initiatives of institutions of higher education, and the telecom industry while we help facilitate deployment of 5G across the country. We look forward to providing our comprehensive recommendations to Congress, the Commission, and the Department of Labor. Thank you very much.